Ratu Thalisa, an Indonesian TikToker with almost 500,000 followers, found herself in hot water over a seemingly harmless joke. Known for her bubbly personality and comedic timing, Thalisa often used humor to connect with her audience. But one joke, directed at a picture of Jesus, landed her in deep trouble. In a now viral video, Thalisa lightheartedly commented that Jesus might need a haircut. The comment, made in passing, seemed innocuous enough. It was the kind of off-the-cuff remark many might make without a second thought. But in Indonesia, a country with a complex relationship between religion and free speech, Thalisa's words had serious consequences. The reaction was swift and severe. 5 Christian groups filed complaints with the authorities, accusing Thalisa of blasphemy. They argued that her joke was a direct insult to their religion, and demanded she be held accountable for her actions. The lines blur in Indonesia. Indonesia, despite being a secular nation, has strict laws against blasphemy. These laws are often used to prosecute individuals who are perceived as insulting or defaming any of the 6 officially recognized religions. Thalisa's case ignited a debate about the limits of free speech, particularly when it comes to matters of faith. On one side of the argument were those who believed Thalisa's joke, however flippant, crossed a line. They argued that religious figures deserve respect, and mocking them is not only insensitive but also a potential threat to religious harmony. This sentiment is particularly strong in Indonesia, where religion plays a significant role in public life. On the other side were free speech advocates who viewed the case as an overreach of authority. They argued that Thalisa's comment, while perhaps in poor taste, was not intended to incite hatred or violence. To them, it was a harmless joke that was blown out of proportion. The Indonesian government, caught in the crosshairs of this debate, faced the difficult task of balancing the right to free speech with the need to maintain religious harmony. Central to Thalisa's case is Indonesia's Electronic Information and Transactions Law, better known as the EIT law. This law, enacted in 2008, was intended to combat cybercrime and regulate online content. However, critics argue that the law is vaguely worded and open to abuse, particularly when it comes to articles dealing with blasphemy and defamation. Human rights groups like Amnesty International have condemned the EIT law, arguing that it is used to stifle dissent and target minorities. They point to the fact that the law has been disproportionately used against religious minorities, LGBTQ+ individuals, and those critical of the government. Thalisa's case is not an isolated incident. In recent years, there has been a concerning trend of individuals being prosecuted under the EIT law for expressing their opinions online. This has led to a climate of fear and self-censorship, with many Indonesians afraid to speak their minds freely for fear of retribution. The case of Ratu Thalisa highlights a global tension between freedom of expression and the protection of religious sensitivities. While freedom of speech is considered a fundamental human right, its boundaries are often tested when it comes to matters of religion. From the Charlie Hebdo attack in France to the Salman Rushdie fatwa, history is replete with examples of how blasphemy laws and religious sensitivities can clash with freedom of expression. The internet and social media have only amplified this tension, creating a global public square where cultural and religious differences are magnified. Finding the right balance between these competing rights is a challenge. It requires a nuanced approach that respects the importance of religious freedom while upholding the fundamental right to free speech. As technology continues to blur the lines between private conversations and public discourse, it is more important than ever to have open and honest conversations about the limits of free speech in a digital age.